Welcome in. It is it's a Friday edition of the pod that we're recording on Thursday because we got the Oilersnation Open on Friday, and we cannot responsibly record a podcast on that day.
Have we tried?
I beg to differ.
Have we tried to?
I don't think we ever have. I don't think it's a great idea.
So nobody watched Pat McAfee's show last Friday, did they?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious. We've done these before. They took ours off the air. They took the Cabana Boys episode. It was on the air for about 7 minutes, and they took it off.
I wasn't in that episode.
No, were you there? Though?
I mean, on Nation
I may have been
Vacations,
asleep.
we've done it before and then woken up the next morning and been like, "Whoop, that's a terrible idea." So
You can't let Sunday scaries get to you. You just let it go.
Once
it's out there. It's out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could have, but also, do we want to? No.
Yeah, it's fun.
Liam, you're gone.
Yeah, you guys do what you want. I'm not even here.
All right, well, that's another reason why we had to do it on Thursday. No BM today. Tyler, Rick, Dan, and Liam here for maybe an hour of hockey talk. We might not go that long. Things kind of died off after the offer sheet drama ended, but there is still a little bit rumbling around with the Oilers. We got to ask the idiots questions. We'll do our hot and cold performers at the end of the episode as well. But let's start off today's podcast with a delicious debate. It is brought to you by our friends at Nation Gear. It's brought to you by us. Head to nationgear.ca. Upgrade your wardrobe. I actually do think we have one more spot in the Oilersnation Open as a mosaic. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, damn, I'm not doing anything, why don't I go play in the Oilersnation Open on Friday? You still can. $300 donation to Gregor's Grads gets you in. The Oilersnation Open brought to you by Star Mechanical and Oodle Noodle. But of course, nationgear.ca. More than that, get in on some hats. We still got stuff up, and we're probably launching more stuff in the next month or so as well. So head to nationgear.ca.
Is that a tease?
It's a bit of a tease.
It sounded like more of a question. And he was looking at you, Liam, like you have the answer.
Do you have answers about that?
I have no answers.
Yeah.
I would assume, knowing this company as long as I have, I would say yes, confidently.
Yeah.
We've never released a design of anything ever before a season. So I don't know what you're talking about, Rick.
Out of all the hats that are up at nationgear.ca, Liam, which one is your favorite?
Let's have a scroll. Probably that one that says oil up.
You have to describe it. It's a podcast.
So it's like a hat. It's blue, like a navy blue. It says oil up in orange across the front, and it's
Playoff
curved.
oil up.
Hold on. I was with you until you said hat.
The playoff oil up font.
Yeah, the oil up hat.
All right. There you go. That's
What's your
Liam's
favorite hat?
I like the one that's cream, the original in cream with the black brim. I think that's pretty nice. It says the original Yeg, Oilers Nation. Rick, you got a favorite hat?
Well, it really comes down to, do you like curved or straight brim?
Yeah,
Well, it's your hat.
We're
You
going-
choose.
Sorry?
You're telling us your favorite.
Well, that's just it. For the curved brims, I like the OG black right there with the white. I think it's the original, isn't it?
Yeah, the original, yeah.
And then when it comes to a flat brim, I do like the playoff one we had this year.
This one?
Yep.
Nation Citizen, oil up. Dan, do you want to put a wrap on this painful ad read?
I am biased, and I will say the Hockey Fights hat, if we have it available on the website right now. I don't know if it is at this moment, but I like my tooth logo.
Yeah, we do have that one.
Pops off of the hat.
Do you like the tooth logo?
I'm a big tooth guy. Yeah, I've
Loves
always
teeth.
loved the teeth.
Future dentist.
Before they were spitting us, Hockey Fights was wearing them.
Can I make a confession?
Yes, and I know what you're gonna say.
What?
We don't go to the dentist.
No, I'm going to the dentist next week.
Is that the confession?
Well, no, for the first time since the actually maybe I don't want to say it.
Since the decade of darkness.
Since the BOA playoff series. Ooh.
I don't think the dentist is as important.
Is it
as
an-
long as you're taking care of yourself.
I do.
Are you in an emergency
floss,
situation? Like,
you're
is there
good.
something that's been kind
No,
of
I'm just
nagging?
going for a cleaning.
Okay.
Does
See,
your,
that doesn't make
do your teeth
you
hurt
know
when
what,
you
though?
eat chocolate?
Nope.
Okay, then you're fine.
I'm going to
Mine
guess
do.
6 cavities.
Whoa. I'm going to guess 0.
So I went to the
You don't
dentist.
know if you have a cavity.
Yeah, if your teeth
No.
don't hurt.
No, I had 10 one time and didn't know.
But did your teeth hurt when you ate chocolate?
No, they only hurt after they fixed them.
Oh.
See, and that's where I'm kind of a little
Yeah.
sussed out about the whole thing.
That's where I've been going at it. I haven't gone back to the dentist in years since that.
You can say no.
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
Just say no.
Thank you.
All right.
I
Hold
like
the
my
bill.
tunnels in my teeth. Thank you.
Delicious debate. The calendar is about to flip to September. Training camp's just around the corner. Your delicious debate for today, because there are some rumblings out there. Do you think the Oilers make a trade before the start of the season? Frank Seravalli was on Oilers Now, and he said that, maybe that's an avenue the Oilers are looking at exploring here. Liam, you got Puckpedia open, so I'll let you go first. Do you think the Oilers are making a trade before the start of the season?
I don't know, and that's not a very good answer. But
insightful. Go ahead.
If they're making a trade, I would assume it's for a defenseman.
Yeah.
You'd like to hope so.
But to me, then that just tells me, and I know the Broberg thing really threw a wrinkle in this, of course, but it shows me you don't have a lot of trust in Josh Brown and Troy Stetcher.
Who you gave multi-year deals to.
Yeah. So that, and I know you can bury them both, and it's very irrelevant because Daryl Case is so rich. So I'll say yes if Frank is saying it. Dante Fabro's the guy, right? That people are kind of muttering about.
Yeah.
That's one name that's been thrown around, but I don't really understand why the Nashville Predators would trade Dante Fabro. If they were going to do it, wouldn't they have just done it earlier in the summer? They have $3 million in cap space, so there's no reason for them to move him. They only have 6 D-men, counting Fabro, on their active roster right now. And also, they spent $100 million this offseason, so they're clearly trying to win, not dump off a...
Well, they're dumping contract to try and bring back Tyson Barrie to add to their top 6, and they're going to give us...
They're going to pay... Are they going to pay Barry more than $4 million?
They're going to pay the guy that they healthy scratched.
You want some money for, in the season and stuff, for Christmas presents and stuff. So you sign Barry, you move Fabro over here.
Rick, do you think they'll make a trade before the start of the season?
Before the start of the season, I hope so. I don't think so. I see the trade coming it could be relatively from now till the deadline day. I think perfect timing for us probably be December-ish. Late November-ish, mid-November-ish.
I really don't see a reason. I feel like sometimes you need to just put trust in what you have. Let things play out. Who knows what happens? Maybe Troy Stetcher does kind of become this top 4 defenseman, or Emberson, or Josh Brown all of a sudden becomes this solid shutdown third pairing guy.
Do you believe what you're saying right now?
I mean, I believe in opportunities, and I think if those guys...
Don't you think Josh Brown's had the opportunities, and he lost his job to Michael Kesselring last year within 5 or 6 games?
You go into a camp, and it's it's Brown, Emberson, and Stetcher. The 3 of them should look at each other and be like, we're each other's competition, and there's 2 spots there for us on opening night if we want to have it. So that should bring out the best in them. If you go out and get another defenseman, I don't know if that would help things.
I always assumed Josh Brown was more of an AHL 8 to 9 defenseman. Anyways, you roll your number 7 up here, which would be Troy Stetcher.
I think they want him in the lineup.
They gave him 3 years and $1 million a year.
That's not for no reason. McDavid spoke about him, right? And Knobloch spoke about how difficult he was to play against in the OHL. I think he was Oshawa. So, I mean, that was a while ago. We've all seen the Jay Fresh post where it's just zeros across the board, so that's not ideal. But hey, if he can be a physical third pairing defenseman and can just kind of shut things down, I don't really know a lot about him, but if that's what he can be, then so be it.
Dan, do you think the Oilers make a trade for the start of the season?
I don't think it makes sense. I think that somebody in Frank's position, and I think a lot of insiders are going to be connecting the Oilers to a lot of defensemen here for the entire run of the season right up until the trade deadline, and that just is logical. And I'm not taking anything away from Frank's linking of us directly to Fabro. To me, that's I put it now in the back of my head around trade deadline time. If the Predators are falling off the face of the earth, then Fabro's probably an Oiler at that point. But I don't think the transaction happens right now because, to Liam's point, you go and you get all these bullets, and they're just sitting on the table, and you don't know what they're going to do for you. You might as well find out what you got at least on the table with the 4 dudes that you had as a backup option to Broberg if something didn't happen with his career. Just kind of forced to make that decision throughout the season. Let the team figure it out on the fly, and hopefully you haven't had the issues that they had at the start of the year last year.
Another reason why I think it's a good idea to play things out is because the Oilers are in no position of panic when it comes to the standings.
Yeah.
They should be able to walk their division.
They're playing in, without a doubt, the worst division in hockey.
Easily.
But Fabro wouldn't be a panic move,
No.
right?
So that's definitely not. But I just mean, just allow the guys you have to play. See what happens. Bring in a PTO and have that, the extra vet to play in and out of your exhibition games. But I had a crazy idea. And call me crazy.
Crazy.
Thank you. What if the Oilers brought back Cody Ceci 50% retained at the deadline?
San Jose doesn't have any retained money spots.
Son of a gun. What if they got a third party? Because then it would be like one something, right? And he actually is a good third pair
but if you're gonna,
defenseman.
I know, but if you're gonna go do that, go upgrade. If you're gonna make a trade, go upgrade. Don't just go do it for the sake of running things back.
But could you not 100% see them doing that?
But
I totally could.
No.
I can't.
I think they could. They were so reluctant to want to trade him this year. To be like, I don't think there's anything under the table by any means, but like, I wonder if they would consider that. I would not be shocked by any
I think
means.
once he got out of them, then the whole toughness to move him was out of the way and done with. You won't need to consider bringing him back. You're going to have Emberson as your 6 on your 3rd, and I think you focus in from yesterday till whenever he gets here on a 2RD.
Yep.
I just think the market is so poor that CC might actually become worth it.
Well, okay,
Ekholm.
and that's why I don't want them to make a trade right now because, like you said, Ekholm, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
nobody knew he was out
exactly.
there, and all of a sudden, bang, he fell on
Yeah,
that team.
totally.
Like at this time in that season where they eventually got Matthias Ekholm, at this point in that season, it was like, oh, Matthias Ekholm signed a 4-year extension in Nashville a month ago. Nashville's trying to win. They're never going to move a guy like that. Then he becomes available. Like, what if Utah falls out of it and which I mean is very likely, but right now they're obviously not looking to move guys. But what if by the deadline Utah's like, oh yeah, we're trying to trade John Marino?
Is he coming back here?
I was gonna say,
no to us once? Will he bring his brother Dan with him? That'd be dope.
What if, we've talked about Seattle and Larson a bunch of times. What if St. Louis is sitting there and is like, well, not Broberg, but what if St. Louis is willing to keep some money and trade a guy like Parayko? I mean, I doubt it, but again, like there's
Stranger things have
You
happened.
had to
So-
eat like $2.5-3 million a year off Parayko's contract before you brought him over, no?
So I was thinking,
maybe, probably, yeah. Or I mean,
And he still has 6?
so it's 4 more years left. This
Oh, is it
year
only
and 3
4?
more, yeah.
Okay.
I don't love that
but-
idea, but I'm just saying, like, there are names around the league. Buffalo, you could look at a guy like Henry Yokoharu. Bunch of options.
do you not think the Ekholm thing is almost, and please correct me because I might be wrong, a pipe dream in the sense that last season, the only one that was, I don't know Ekholm was the only one that happened the year before, but it was apparent that he was available. The only one last year was Thomas Hurdle, and that just came out of absolute nowhere, right? That had like length. I don't know. It's going to be difficult to pull off a trade like that again. And I don't know, again, who would even be available, but
Somebody has to just be staring at the rosters and figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, what if Washington stinks and they sit there and go, yeah, we're going to look to trade Trevor Van Riemsdyk in the last 2 years of his deal? Like, there's enough team. Like, right now, there's so many teams that you look at. Like, again, I just rattled off. Like, Utah, everyone's thinking, like, ooh, they're going to push. They're going to be good. And Buffalo's going to be better. And Detroit's going to be better. And Washington's going to be better. But, like,
23 teams are saying like that. And
Yeah.
7 teams are like, nah, they're done.
so right now, like, again, I don't think I can't see a scenario where Nashville's like, yeah, we want to trade Dante Fabro right now. He's one of their 6 best defensemen. They have cap space. They're trying to win. But so right now, like, could you go make not a panic move, but could you go make a bottom of the barrel kind of trade? Sure. But how big of an upgrade is it over a Stetcher or a Emerson? I'm not sold on it. I would rather keep my powder dry, to use the old low tide line. Keep your powder dry. You have some picks now because of the offer sheet thing. You have the ability to either accrue cap space or you have the ability to maybe move on from a guy like Evander Kane at the deadline or move out some money, right? Or put Kane on LTIR, because, again, that's the other thing. You can make a move right now and then go into LTIR to start the year, but then you better hope Evander Kane doesn't come back or say he's ready to go.
Yeah.
You need to sit there and I think wait till closer to the deadline and say, okay, we either know Kane is coming back in the next month, so we can't use his space, or we know how his recovery is going from surgery if that ends up happening, and we know we have that LTIR room no matter what.
That right there says they probably will make the trade till into the season, because if you make it before, you go on LTIR before. If you wait till
we'll see
day
what
one, then you can
Yeah.
then you can put them on LTIR, then you make the move.
see what happens to you throughout camp through other teams, right? Like a small trade can make a big difference.
When Kane comes back, so he's out for 3/4 of the year, and you sat him on day 1 of the season. When he comes back, do you only need 25% of his contract space on your on your cap, or do you need all of his space again?
Yeah, they're going to go. I don't even think
So
they're
it's not like trading a player in where you've only got 20%.
Yeah, correct.
All right.
Yeah.
And right now, with Kane on the roster, they have $945,000 in cap space. So I would imagine that they're not
Fine,
even
I'll
putting.
sign the contract.
I would imagine they're not even putting him on LTIR. They're just going to put him on normal IR.
I think he'll start the season on IR.
Yeah.
Until maybe they get to a point where it's like they're going to accrue so little from him being on LTIR, they'll just throw him on.
Yep. And the other thing, too, that comes with, again, waiting until the deadline is what if one of their more expensive forwards, a Nuge, an Arvidsson, whoever, I mean, knock on wood, but like, if someone were to go down, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we have their LTIR space we could use. Like, I don't know.
It's still August. We can't talk about the doomsday stuff yet.
Yeah.
I hate LTIR.
If I gave you -110 on either side for Bet365, yes or no, a trade for a defenseman before the season, which side are you betting on, Liam?
No.
Dan?
It's a no.
Rick?
No.
Yeah, I think it's a no, too. I know a lot of people are kind of holding their breath and talking about Fabro. I just don't see that happening. So that's our delicious debate for today. Will the Oilers add a defenseman or trade for a defenseman before the start of the season? There are other ways you could go about adding a defenseman. And
sign a guy from Russia?
Well, that's exactly where I was going next. If you head to Oilersnation.com, there is an article up with the headline. Where is it? From Frank Seravalli. Tony DeAngelo would, quote, love to be in Edmonton
for
and
cheap,
is willing to play for cheap. Frank's sources on this stuff, usually pretty bang on. So if Tony DeAngelo is throwing out the flare, so to speak, saying, I am right here, what do we think of that idea? Obviously, this is a guy who has a past. There were issues in junior, was suspended for using slurs of some nature. We know his issues in New York when they eventually cut ties with him with the fight with Gorgiev, which Tony DeAngelo on a show that's a part of our network, Morning Cup of Hockey, he's kind of come out and warned that. Been like, hey, like that's on me. Like I've grown from that. I have no ill will before Gorgiev. He explained the whole situation and how frustrating it was. Last year with the Carolina Hurricanes, he only appeared in 31 games. He posted 11 points, which, funny enough, is similar offensively to what Ty Emberson did with the San Jose Sharks. Over the course of his career, he's had some good years. With the Rangers in 1920, he put up 53 points. Granted, 19 of them were on the power play. Had a 50-point season with the Canes. Was close to a 50-point D-man with the Flyers, but 40 to 50% of his points in those big pop years he's had, they all come on the power play. So he can move the puck. He's a right shot defenseman, and he's willing to play for cheap. And he's only, 28 years old. But he comes with some baggage. And a lot of his offense comes on the power play, and he wouldn't have the chance to do that in Edmonton. Dan, I'll start with you since you went last in the delicious debate. Any interest in Tony DeAngelo on a one-year league minimum deal?
Well, he also comes to you from the KHL currently, does he not? Is he signed there, or is that a rumor?
Yeah, I think he signed a contract this year.
Yeah.
I would imagine it comes with an NHL out clause, so he can just...
Yes, I agree with that, but I think that is kind of the message, the overarching message of my response is this is a guy that's just desperate to hang on anywhere, and sees Edmonton has an open spot in the bottom six, and so of course he's going to put his hat into the ring. I understand the Oilers want to look at that, but there's even the baggage of just the Russia element right now, where I think that might kind of play into. He's a guy that I would be willing to look at a PTO, but there's a guy that is a stats darling and couldn't stick in the stats capital of the NHL right now. So
yeah,
that's just troubling for me. I would see a PTO, but I think that the KHL factor is the biggest thing.
I think a 5-on-5 Troy Stetcher is a better option than him, but I think DeAngelo and his puck moving ability would be intriguing. I do think his game's a little bit chaotic, so that's why I would hesitate for him to be like Darnell Nurse's partner next year if he were to come here. Liam, do you like the idea of Tony DeAngelo?
Tony DeAngelo played with Daryl in junior.
Were they both Sioux Greyhounds?
For his last year of junior, he was traded to the Sioux Greyhounds, who must have been good that year. 51 points in 26 games. Not bad. So
worth remembering, a guy like Connor Brown scored 130 points in the junior season.
Still, he kind of translated to the NHL to an extent. I'm not fully against it. I would be hesitant to sign him to a contract. Like Dan said, I think he's better than the 3 PTO options we've seen in Barry Schultz and Shattenkirk. At the end of the day, he's 28 years old. Supposedly, he is very liked by his teammates. Like, there is that kind of
incident notwithstanding.
Yeah, besides the Gorgiev one, and now there's stuff coming out about Gorgiev that maybe he's not the best guy in the world too, right? In that kind of sense of things. I think DeAngelo obviously has a ton of baggage, and I think everything you can assume he's kind of been involved in a way, but I think this locker room has shown that they are quite a strong group with the guys they've brought in. It kind of sucks that Edmonton is getting this reputation of being this second chance saloon.
Reclamation project.
Yeah.
Second Chance Saloon.
Yeah, there you go. Check out that one in Tofield. There's 2 of them.
There's 2 second chances in
There's the
Tofield.
last chance saloon and the second last chance saloon right next to each other. And so I would be for a PTO, see what happens. I trust the locker room enough that they could have a guy like DeAngelo and things wouldn't go south with him.
I hate to be this guy, but it's a dressing room. Anyways, outside of that,
What did I call it?
a locker room. In hockey, it's a dressing room.
Oh,
Sorry.
whatever.
I know.
I call it the sweater room.
I have some of those issues.
It's the hockey sweater.
I don't think he's a big step up from what we have right now. I don't mind his baggage stuff out there. Doesn't bother me as much.
Some
think,
of it came from Junior.
Yeah,
when
and
he
that's
was
a long ass
suspended,
time
and, like,
ago.
I'm willing to give someone at least a bit, again, because I've listened to his interview on Morning Cup of Hockey. I think he's a bit of a changed person.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. And I think he made his last stint there with Carolina. I don't think he got in any trouble there.
No.
And I think, like Dan said, they're the stat darlings. There was, oh my God, look what they're doing. Those are great moves over there. That's fantastic. They're going to win the Stanley Cup for the next 10 years.
They
They've
hired
never
Tyler
won-
Dello.
They've never won once, and I don't think they've won a game in the Eastern Conference Final they were there 3 years in a row and
Yeah,
got swept
something.
each time, right?
I don't know. What
Or
the
they just
number
lost
is.
each time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sounds-
whatever.
Sounds right
whatever
to
it
me.
was.
Sounds good.
He wasn't able to crack that team very well last year. Didn't play a lot in the playoffs for that.
Yeah.
I think he played like 4 or 5 games, maybe if that. He's not a step up from what we have right now. We need a step up from what we have right now. It's no point. We have 3 versions of him already.
I agree. I do think it's kind of pointless. If you wanted to bring in someone on a PTO, I do agree with you, Liam. I think he's a guy who presents more upside than a Joltz. Definitely more upside than a Tyson Barrie. I'd still be intrigued in a guy like Gustav Lindstrom just because he's a bit different and a bit more of an unknown. And with the unknown maybe comes some potential. But DeAngelo, Lindstrom, if you're going the PTO route, I don't mind either one of those 2. But the Oilers, again, you said it, last chance saloon or whatever. Second chance saloon.
One of their
Second last
Tofield
chance
or-
saloon.
His name comes with baggage. His name will come with a good amount of negative PR. And if you're the Oilers, are you sitting there going, okay, is it like you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound? It's
Gotta
like
get all them red flags.
well, right, like you did the Virtanen thing a couple years ago, okay. You did the Kane thing, okay. You did the Cassian thing before that. And I'm not saying all of these are like the same, but
Yeah.
like they all came with a certain amount of negative PR at the time. You did the Corey Perry thing last year. You've now done the Stan Bowman thing. Do you sit there and go, we don't need more of that? Or do you sit there and go, our reputation is what it is at this point. So, like, there's no reputation left to damage for us as an organization. Let's just bring them in and do it.
You look at the product on the ice, and if it's there, then yeah, you can start considering the other stuff. But the product on the ice, I don't think is there. Therefore, you don't even get to the other point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I think he would work.
You think he would work?
I think he would work.
I don't
Puck
know if he's a
moving
great
guy
partner
next
for
to
Nurse.
You don't think so?
And I like Emberson and Kulak the more I think about it as a pure shutdown duo. And I think Stetcher and Nurse have a little bit hair of experience together.
What did DeAngelo do in terms of PK?
Oh,
There's
zero.
no way this dude kills penalties.
Because we've lost 2 heavy right-hand shot PK heavy defensemen in CC and Vin.
Emerson will kill.
Emberson will kill. So you have Emberson. Kulak didn't really kill penalties last year,
No, he
which is
didn't.
weird.
But CC and Vin,
Yeah.
both were big parts of that. Very, very good in the playoffs.
Maybe Josh Brown is your big penalty killer. What a
Then do you want him
sentence.
playing 5-on-5 as well?
I don't know if I want him
When we
playing.
brought him in here, pretty much everyone thought that Josh Brown was going right to Baco, and if he got to play in Edmonton,
we
we
done
had
something wrong.
a bit of an infirmary issue going on here.
Well, we had Broberg back then. Should have signed him in January.
Tony DeAngelo has had one season where he's killed north of 1 minute per game on
How'd he do?
PK time.
Derek Brassard numbers.
Yeah. No, better than Derek Brassard numbers.
Wow, bring him in.
Was outscored 8-1 in 74 minutes of PK time, so it's not great.
What's that? Wait, what are you looking for?
What team was that on?
I think you're looking for less than a goal every 10 minutes. That was on Philly.
Okay, well, that adds up.
He also played
They
with
need a
Nail
really-
Yakupov in Sarnia.
They need a really good cheat sheet for these stats.
Yeah, like what is good?
What is it?
Just have it
Break it down. What is good? What is bad? What is average?
Just all the numbers have them be green, yellow, or red.
Well, I like
and then
that.
I'll know. And then I'll know if they're good or bad.
Because I've tried to dip into that stuff before, and then you do need a window. You're like, well, what the fuck is that? Okay, go over there, look at that. read about it. Okay, now go back. Wait, hold on, I forgot. Go back. Like to the point where it never became fluid. Everything was always a work, and then it just you don't want to do it anymore. And I would like to have that information, but if it's that much work, like no, I'm not. It's not going to become good information because if it's not natural,
where you need to have an explanation for the information that you're reading.
Exactly. That's just
makes it more difficult. That's why we have Tyler and Liam to explain it all for us.
I don't know, just come in and ask questions.
They are our glossaries.
What was it?
8 goals in 74 minutes actually isn't that bad.
Anyways,
you're not bringing him in to be a PK guy. There's no way.
No. Anybody can be a PK guy under Paul Coffey.
Mark Stewart.
And Mark Stewart, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm for it. Sorry.
Last thing I had before we take a break and get to Ask the Idiots, NHL Network releasing their list of top 20 defensemen in the NHL, and the Oilers had 2 in the top 20.
Wow.
Surprising enough. Evan Bouchard managed to crack the top 10, coming in at 9th. Matthias Ekholm was 16th on NHL Network's list of best defensemen. Do you guys agree with those 2 rankings there for Bush and Ekholm?
Well, what are the rest?
I will get that for you.
Give me the other 20.
So here, it's different though because I think some guys are because they're so offensively talented, they get put in there.
There's 2 steps.
Ekholm is like an all-round,
he's also
all
legacy
the tools type of defenseman, and Bush obviously is a very high offensive defenseman.
See, the one thing I hate about this list is it says top 20 defensemen right now.
Yep.
And Quinn Hughes is at number 1. And he just won.
Just won the Norris.
The Norris.
Yeah.
Like, how is he? There was another list too. He wasn't even like top 10 or something like that.
Yeah. So here's who NHL Network had: Makar, Hughes, Hedman, Yossi, Heiskanen, Forsling, McAvoy, Fox, Bouchard, Devon Taves, and then the last 10 were Dahlin, Morrissey, Slavin, Werenski, Dobson, Ekholm, Doughty, Hannafin, Hamilton, and Moritz Seider.
See, it's funny because that's got to be tough to do because you have some guys like moving up in their career. You have some guys who are super duper high and on their way down in their career. You have some guys having kind of popping out of nowhere, kind of, being a plateau type defenseman for 3-4 years and have a out of nowhere shoot up.
You're also writing an article for NHL.com, so you're trying to include every single team. That's where I think that like a Roman Yossi, Matthias Ekholm probably have seen their numbers up higher because Nashville just kind of was known for that. Hedman, same kind of idea. Yeah, exactly. Legacied in. I think that a lot of those lists are probably compiled off of the previous year's list. And so to Liam's point, that is harder for somebody that had a better year to break through that kind of, those 4 and 5 guys that are legacied in ahead of him. And at the end of the day, it's off-season content, and they want us talking about it. And so here we are. We win. They win.
I think Ekholm in the top 20 is...
Wasn't he listed as one of the most overrated players last year in that player poll?
The athletic thing, I think.
Yeah, like not to say that that's either definitive nor this is definitive, but... Yeah, I don't know. Like I think that everybody has to take a little
where they decide someone is overrated is very, very important.
Oh, Rick's saying that because Josh Allen got voted most overrated quarterback.
I think Bouchard is underrated on this list.
You think he should be higher than 9th?
I think he should be a little bit higher.
He did come 5th in Norris voting, didn't he?
And yeah, I think so. And I think his defensive game is actually way better than people give him credit for.
And it's only going to get better.
But his errors are so egregious, and like they do 9 times out of 10 end up resulting in goals that make him look way worse. But
at the very least.
Yeah, but he is actually really solid. He doesn't play 25 minutes a night in the playoffs because he's bad defensively. Although Erik Karlsson did make a career out of it.
Also, the one thing, like, people always love to be like, you traditionally think good defensively, and you're like, oh, he's going to cross-check someone in front of the net, lay a big hit, and have a really good stick. I think someone who crisply exits the zone on a consistent basis is more valuable defensively than a guy who's going to clear the front of the net for you. Because, again, there's no need to clear the front of your net if the puck's in the neutral zone and Connor McDavid's now ripping up the ice. So that's where I think Bouchard doesn't get enough credit as being good defensively. You just have to, I think, look at what it means to be good defensively a little bit different. Best defense is a good offense.
Trying to wrap this in my head, and I don't know if I want to say
I also don't think Hedman should be 3. I'd take Heiskanen over Hedman. I'd take...
I don't know.
Of those guys.
But that's the legacy. He's the prime example of legacy.
76 points in 78 games last year.
Yeah, he had a good year, man.
I think I would have Bouchard 6 or 7.
Controversial, but I think I'd have Bouchard over Forsling.
I think I would, too. Would I have him over Heiskanen?
I'd take Bouchard over McAvoy.
I would
Take him
too.
over
I
Josi.
don't. Right,
Do
McAvoy's
you
good.
take him over Heiskanen over the fact that he's a right-handed shot? Like I know sometimes that you find a right-handed defenseman, if you're equal in everything, you might take the righty just because they're worth more.
I think Heiskanen skates so well.
Yeah, 100% he
like
does.
that.
I think my top 5 would be Hughes, McCaw, Hedman, Yossi, Heiskanen, and then I would have Bouchard.
That's
And I don't care. What about the rest?
ouch.
All right.
Ekholm 7.
I was gonna say I'm sitting in the corner with a tear coming out.
Drew
of his eye right
Doughty
now.
at 17 is surprising.
Zach
He's-
Werenski at 14 is interesting, too.
Yeah, Doughty is still very good, and that blue line was not great from the Kings last year, especially in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think I think he's kind of becoming underrated in a weird way for how long he was known as like the best defenseman in the league or one of. Like I think he is getting a little bit underappreciated because what is he now? 34?
Finished second in the league in time on ice per game last season.
Doughty?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Not
still
that
a good
that
player.
correlates because the other guys up there are John Carlson's 1, Mike Matheson's 3, Seth Jones's 4.
Mike Matheson is 3.
How dare I say this so loud? But
Oh,
I
here
do
we
feel
go.
like Drew Doughty, like in the last few years, has slowed down considerably from the Drew Doughty, the
Well,
dominant
yeah,
Drew
we
Doughty.
know what we know of Drew
Hey.
Doughty was like top of the top of the top.
At
It's
the s-
very hard to be that guy.
At the start of this segment, Liam said, "Right now," and to me, Drew Doughty has just kind of fallen off.
What's
a
Drew
little
Doughty's
bit.
contract?
He still has
10 and
like
a
4
half.
years left.
Could you get LA
his
to
numbers
eat
have definitely
7.5
fallen.
Could you get LA to eat $7 million of it and bring him over to play with Nurse?
Another problem for Drew is that he comes up against Connor McDavid all the time, and so he gets
Yeah.
made to look pedestrian that way.
Poor
But
guy.
He actually just had, I think that's his 4th best season in the NHL this past season, statistically.
I think I found like the minute that he started to get into the word battle with Matthew Tkachuk that I kind of lost like that.
He was always that guy.
Yeah.
He likes to talk.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think that the on ice behavior didn't follow his words, and that for me, where Tkachuk
I
was
think if
better
your
than
game
him.
starts to slip off, you might speak a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like counterbalance that shit.
Yep.
Here's another one I'll throw at you guys to wrap up this conversation. So the Oilers are one of 2 teams to have 2 defensemen in this list of top 20. Colorado's the only other one with Makar and Taves. Makar and Taves obviously play together. With the Oilers' issues on the right side, we'll call it, or lack of depth, and the fact that they have these 2 guys who, again, NHL Network deemed top 20. At first, I kind of scoffed at the Ekholm thing. I went and looked through some other names. I'm like, he's at worst top 25. Like,
Ekholm?
yeah, like, I think even if you want to be pessimistic about him. But anyways, would you at all be intrigued at the idea of splitting them up next season and going, hey, we have these 2 guys. Let's, if
Where
you
do you
were,
go, though?
if you were to split them up, do Bouchard with Nurse, do Ekholm with
Emerson.
maybe a Ty Emberson, and have like a really
yeah.
high end shutdown pairing.
I think the reality is for this team for this season, for the first up until that trade deadline, we are not going to see more than like 3 or 4 games with the same defensive pairing the whole time.
Depends on how well they play. I mean,
Yeah.
if they gel together.
But I could just see them moving it around, trying to find, like Tyler's saying, like trying to find that mojo with the group that they have now.
They even did it last year, right? They're like,
Yep.
hey, we get in the playoffs. We don't know what we got to do.
But I
This
think
guy,
you're going
this
to
guy,
even
that
see
guy,
it
that
more
guy.
now because there's no, like we've lost, like you guys said, the CC minus plus the Broberg issue. Like you've lost. And then Vinny Desharnais, you've lost a huge chunk of that defensive, just like stability. And so, I think there's some work to be done by
I'd
Paul.
take a look at that, though.
Because, I mean, you could sit there and go, oh, I have one of Ekholm or Bouchard on the ice for 45 minutes of every game at least.
Well, it's a McDavid and Draisaitl debate too, isn't it?
Kind of is, yeah.
Split them up, you have more opportunities against
I don't know, I
weaker
think
Play them
opponents.
together, they're so
If
damn
Emerson's
good.
going to be that shutdown type of guy who moves the puck well, how's he skate?
I think he skates okay. We talked to
Yeah.
a guy
Then
from San
I
Jose
would
the other
like
day.
to see that type of a defenseman who could carry his own, be Darnell's partner. Let Darnell skate up, skate the puck out. You don't have to pass it all the time. He skates better than 95% of defensemen in the league. He can get caught up there and get the hell back. We've seen it a trillion times. And if Emberson is confident in his own game and can handle the puck and can be a really good version of Cody Ceci, I think you might have a pairing there.
So if you have that pairing, then what do you got for the
Then
rest
you
of
roll with Bush and Ekholm, and you run with, I'm going to go Stetcher first
Yeah.
and Kulak, and then you're trying to find a better version of another 2RDB, another version of a 2RD. If you have Emberson there, then when you're trying to bring a guy in, you're bringing in a guy who's equal to, if not a little bit better than Emerson. Whether he plays with Kulak, well, then you're laughing.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, that is a wrap on the first half of the podcast. We're going to step aside for a quick break, come back with Ask the Idiots. Back on Oilers Nation Radio, Ask the Idiots is brought to you by Bet365. You can sign up today, get in on a huge range of markets, and use the promo code OILYBONUS, OILYBONUS. Oily bonus on Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. All right, we got a couple of questions here. Let's start with this one that I made up. Which bottom six forward are you most excited to see play next season? Are you most excited to see the results? It's inspired by Waz's post about Connor Brown. He said he's excited to see what a fully healthy Connor Brown can do for the entire season. I'm with Waz. That would be my answer. I'm intrigued to see if this guy can score like 12 to 15 goals for the Oilers this season and be the Connor Brown we were hoping for last year. Rick, do you have an answer?
Bottom six guy that I want to see. He's not in right now, but he's penciled in as one of the guys who could be a bottom six. We've had him on the team, in the organization for a couple of years. It's going to be Lavoie. I want to see what a guy like Raph Lavoie can do. The guy has close to an elite shot, right? He's got a hell of an NHL shot already. Yep. He's a goal scorer type of player. He's a big body. He's a right-handed, better shooter than Holloway, I think. I don't know if he can skate as well. But I have a lot of hope that if a guy like that can take off for you, he'll be a very big piece for us.
I'm looking forward to Victor Arvidsson. I would like to see a return to the Arvidsson that I remember from the Nashville Predators that I just hated to play against every single time. Just the pest, the rat, that shit disturber that can kind of just back it up. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do in that Fogle spot.
Guy, though, or do you think he'll be with Draisaitl?
Well,
I didn't want to say that.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. I think of him as the Fogle replacement, so that's where my head goes with it. But I think that you're going to see some slotting in and slotting out. That's fair, though, to say that's not a great answer.
Liam, just like our first segment about hats, I'm just kidding.
Is Evander Kane a bottom six player?
Well, he's hurt, so.
Technically.
He's not hurt. He'll be in the bottom six, right?
No, he's hurt, Liam.
Well,
he might be getting surgery.
Who's 92? Pod Colson. I'd be interested to see what he could do. After he played three years ago was his rookie season. And I want to see what he can do. Can he replace Holloway?
Yeah.
Not right away.
I did see, I don't know if you guys have been up on this rumor, but Nicholas Robertson in Toronto.
Oh, yeah, for a first-round pick.
Well, I know Leafs fans always think Nick Robertson's going to get them a first-round pick, but he's currently an RFA who apparently has no plans to sign in Toronto and is just like, yeah, I'm not going to play there again. I'd be intrigued by him as a guy to throw into that mix as a potential Holloway replacement. I don't know what he costs you.
What's their cap issue?
I don't even think they really have one. I just don't think Nick Robertson.
I'm just thinking in terms of RFA, if you're going to offer sheet somebody.
Oh, that's a situation where you probably don't, and you probably talk to the team.
They have $1.2 million.
They have 1.275 in cap space with. That's 12.
What's a reasonable contract for him?
Well, he did have 30 points last year.
If you know he's not going to sign in Toronto, though.
Yeah, but first of all, you have to hit a number where Toronto's going to really think about it.
Yep.
So 1.51 million or less is no compensation, and the Leafs have 1.29 million dollars in cap space. So do you just go dead on 1.50 for this guy and be like, there's no compensation, but you have to go over the cap to match it?
Yeah, then you just send Josh Brown down and you're back into good.
Yeah, I mean, not a terrible idea.
Or you go, I mean, if you want, you do have a third-round pick you could use as comp. And no, you need your own third-round pick, don't you? Yeah, you do. So, yeah, the only way the Oilers could do it is with the no compensation route. So you probably have to call Toronto and be like, we'll give you the third-round pick we got from St. Louis if you give us Nick Robertson.
I don't know. I think you're just running to a point now. If you bring in more forwards, you don't have any room to play these guys anymore.
That's fair because you have Jarvan.
Colson is the new Holloway, whatever you want to call, and he's in the last roster spot for forwards, right? I mean, you could take Corey Perry to this lineup,
but I'd rather have Lavoie take that spot.
Yeah, you can take out reasonably in this. You can take out 2 players. That's 10 and 90.
Yeah,
right. So you're looking at 2 guys you could bring in. Is Robertson's going to be okay? You can drop that middle line, that third line there to the 4th line, and bump up. So if Robertson like a third line player,
Robertson, Henrique, Podkolzin as the third line, then you go Derek Ryan, Janmark, Connor Brown as your 4th line.
Paul Coulson's a fourth liner. I would switch him and Janmark.
You mean he's a third liner?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Puck
he had-
Colson has upside.
Oh, I think he has upside too, but to start the season, he's on the fourth line.
All right. What else do we got for Ask the Idiots? I threw a couple out on Twitter. Charboard, if you had a time machine and could change one event in NHL history, what would it be? We kind of did this with our biggest Oilers what-ifs like a month ago.
Do a non-Oiler one.
Oh, do a non-Oiler. So NHL history non-Oiler, something that's just interesting to you. I would say the results of the Sidney Crosby draft lottery. Because remember, it was so weird, right? Because it came out of that lockout season. And
How the hell did we come mid-20s? Terrible.
Yeah, that was weird. But what does it look like? Like, does Pittsburgh still have a franchise if Sid doesn't go there?
Yeah.
Like, because that totally rejuvenated, revitalized things there.
Mine would
Like,
be.
if he's a Duck, how does that end up shaking out?
Yeah, I mean.
What if they
That
kept?
would be
What if Quebec never had to leave?
Oh, what if they? Because
That's 2 cups in
I was
Colorado.
just thinking, what if Winnipeg didn't leave? You'd probably have a franchise in Arizona by now that was viable.
Arizona's done properly.
Yeah, instead of shoehorning them and forcing them into.
Yeah.
So the Southwest division might be
The biggest one is an Oiler one too, but what happens if Gretz didn't go to LA?
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah,
that
exactly.
a month ago. Where like, is there even an Anaheim Duck franchise?
Yeah. Do they even,
Ducks, yes. Sharks, probably not.
Yeah, does Crosby even get the
But
chance?
like, if you
to
could,
become a
okay,
Duck?
so the person asked if you could go back and do something that you wanted to do that's not Oilers related. What is it?
I would prevent the lockouts, so then we could have seen Ovechkin break the record
That's a good
in
one.
his prime and not just drag out his
Screw you.
career.
Yeah.
Like I obviously don't want him to break it as an Oilers record, but
What
I mean,
if
I'd
Gary
rather
Suter
see.
didn't break Wayne Gretzky's back and then Wayne Gretzky had
Yeah,
3,000
maybe.
points.
There you
and
go.
Maybe even 1,000 goals.
But my least favorite thing in sports is when you just watch a guy like drag something out forever. Like most guys are like cup chasing, I get that, but like it does suck to watch them. But like if you saw Ovechkin, even if it was like 3 years ago, break the record, he was still scoring like 40, 50 goals a year then.
That's fair.
What if Bobby Orr had 2 regular knees and got to play a whole career? Got to play a whole career. You only
Does
got
that
like,
change much though? Like,
I think
he's
it
still
does.
one of the best defensemen ever.
I was going to go another way with it. And what if Mario had caught the cancer before he had to go get treatment and could have just kept playing?
Yeah, because I mean, like he's locked. It's so funny when you look at the top 10 all-time scorers and then just zero in on the games played column and how much fewer Mario has than everyone else. It's wild.
that's that year he came back after Christmas and still won the scoring title. Mind-boggling.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a good one from Charboard.
Not very offensive era.
It would have been a cool debate, I think. Like, it would have made the best player of all time just like an actual conversation forever.
Yep. Dougie D-Man said, based on the pick from Germany, when is Matthews coming to Edmonton?
I know, I saw that too. Him and that goalie.
Yeah, whoever the goalie is, we could use him. Speaking of which,
There's a lot
happy
of
retirement to Mikko Koskinen, who's going into the
Yeah.
player agent game.
Really, Lico?
Yeah.
I missed that whole last comment. What was that last thing?
Mikko Koskinen retired?
Nope, before that, the German thing.
There was a picture of McDavid and Matthews skating together in Germany.
Why is McDavid in Germany?
Honeymoon?
Leon?
Yeah, Leon's in Germany.
Oh.
Honeymoon?
And I believe there were some social media posts that Mrs. McDavid and soon to be Mrs. Draisaitl were like venue hunting in Europe. So Connor's probably just over there.
Cool.
Found some ice. Kate, Dan, you had one to wrap up. Ask the Idiots. A question about retribution is all you told me.
Yes, I had an accident a couple of months ago, and I have a rental car that was given to me because my car is in the shop for fixing. And as you know, with rental shops, they charge you extra amount of money if you don't return it with the gas filled up. Yeah. I turned on the car to discover that I had 1/4 of a tank missing.
Okay.
Which,
Your
like
vehicle.
whatever. No, the rental vehicle that I'm now taking over. And the guy in the back seat just said, "Oh, well, you can just return it with that much gas in it and that'll be fine." That was his response. So my question is to you guys, how do you handle that at the end of this rental thing? Should I fill up the tank? Should I try to fill up the tank to that number, or should I do nothing at all and just say, you know what, you got to figure it out for me?
Yeah,
And
fill it
then
up.
the only thing, I've never rented a car like that, but I've taken U-Hauls, and U-Hauls, they'll give you a picture of it. And even if it's not topped, they'll be like, look, it's 3/4. They'll just color it there, and you just bring it back there.
Yeah,
I'd take a picture of it if I were you, but yeah.
I did, yeah. Okay.
But that also involves a little bit of guesswork.
That's where I'm
100%
annoyed.
It does, but I mean,
That's
no
where
one's
I'm
gonna hit you up
annoyed
and
as
say you
the-
need another $3.74 in there.
Yeah, I feel like if you just fill it up to somewhere close to there, and then when you bring it back, just say like, "Hey, it was at 3/4 when I got it. Like, you better not charge me."
Is it petty of me to do that though?
No.
Like,
I think that's totally fine.
Okay.
I would not feel any way about it.
Do they do it in Canada? Because they did it in the US when we went, and they're gonna do it on my car when I go down to LA this weekend. But can you just pay for them to do it beforehand?
Yes, but
You
it's
can
like
do that,
it's
yeah?
like $2 a liter for like the tank of gas kind of thing. So you basically have to be willing to burn through the entire tank and send it to them empty.
Yeah, I think I'm
Oh,
gonna
and
do
just
that.
like pay them to fill it up.
Yeah,
Or you pay, it's like $1.77 per liter, like based off of the numbers that, so it's like scaled up. You pay like an extra 30 cents per liter to fill it up to whatever.
This is a little off topic, but kind of sort of the same. Did you know, and I think it's New Jersey, that you're not allowed to fill up your own gas?
oh yeah.
Most states now have that because
Why?
they are trying to save it. Like it's veiled as they're trying to save the job of the gas station attendant.
Perfect.
So
I
full
only heard-
service.
I don't know. Remember what show I was watching, but I only heard it was like Jersey, and like dude like got, or no, he was from Jersey, went somewhere else, and was like pulled up and sat there in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
Yeah.
4 minutes, and
But-
looking around like, what the hell? Like, bro, you got.
So last November when I did my trip through New York and Philly in that area to go see Frank, and we drove through New Jersey, and Frank was like, "Yeah, it's not even like an optional thing. Like, it is a law. You cannot pump
Yeah, it's
your
like
own
a
gas."
law.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, that's if you get to a certain age. Like, I mean, growing up, I remember that was an option. Self-serve, full serve was
Domo.
50-50 at the very least. Now there's like 3 in Alberta, maybe. I don't know.
Also, so we were driving from Philly to Frank has like a beach house in New Jersey. So that's why we drove through there. And the town Frank's beach house is in is a dry town. So before you go across the bridge, there's just
gotta be loaded?
There's one massive liquor store, and everyone loads up there because once you get into the town, no booze.
Oh, you can't buy it, but you can have it.
You can have it, but you can't buy it there.
All right.
I was gonna say this seems like a poor plan to have
Yeah.
one bridge in and out of the town
Everyone's
too.
just pounding beers on the other side of the road. All right, let's go, guys.
But one cop is just like, you guys, why don't we just check everybody at the bridge?
All right, there you go. Ask the idiots for our friends at Bet365. Let's wrap up the show, boys, with our hot and cold performers. It is brought to you by the Millwoods Golf Course, home to the 7th annual Oilersnation Open. Tomorrow, private club conditions for under $100. Truly one of the hidden golf gems in the city and the best pro shop in the city by my book as well. I'm going to go over to the side with the buttons, but let's kick it off with our cold performers. Dan, what do you got?
Mine's just going to be a local flavor for Edmontonians dealing with them this year. It's the wasp problem.
Holy
Wasp
shit, is it
/ yellow
ever
jacket
bad?
problem. It's horrendous in the city. I understand the science behind it and
What
whatever.
is the science?
There's just, I think the growing season was earlier this year, and so they don't have any flowers left. So they are looking for both meat and sugary substances, of which most people have one or the other. And also, just learned today, vape juice, selling vape can also bring them in too. So wasp problem in this city gets my cold performer of the week.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Liam.
I've not really thought about this.
Well,
I
My
don't
cold-
believe that. I feel like by Saturday, he's already sitting there right next to me.
No, see, the
6
rest
days
of
to
us-
go.
The rest of us aren't sure. Liam's got 7 that he
He's
wants
got
to
a
go.
whiteboard at home.
He's
that's
just not sure
broken
which one he
down.
wants to
Yeah,
do today.
exactly.
Yeah, that's all it is.
My cold performer of the week
We helped him there.
will go to the fact that kids have gone back to school. It indicates that summer is coming to a close.
I'm upset.
Oh, and also on top of that, school zones now become in effect, which is a bit annoying too.
It's
Liam,
true.
there-
Okay.
I'm
Did you know
upset.
that they're also in effect over the summer?
No, they're not. It literally says within school time. So if they're out of school,
Yeah, you
then
can
they
go.
don't-
You can go
Yeah.
40 or 50 through a school zone.
I
in
think
the summer.
there's different ones. I think
Okay,
there's like
yeah.
playgrounds and
Playgrounds
Playground
and
zones are
such.
different, but
Every-
like
yeah.
the one by my house has the flashing lights. Like the kids are on a PD day on a Friday and the lights aren't
Oh,
flashing.
but
can
you
go-
guys are speaking from hub town laws. We're talking Edmonton law.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sure,
Yep.
parks
Out
like
in the burbs.
all schools.
Anything is fine.
Yeah, it is
As
ridiculous.
long as the kids
And
bounce off your
build-
bumper,
the
it's
building
fine.
more.
All right, Rick, what do you got?
So it's more annoying than anything like that. And you might notice this. Do you get notifications on your Score app on your
Yep.
phone? Have you not noticed? So I've been like sitting there watching something else, and my phone will buzz, and I look and it's like a Jays thing. So I hit the last channel button, and 3 seconds later, there's that home run you were just told about.
I hate that. I think those apps should have to be on like same thing with teams tweeting things out. You should always today with like people who stream stuff. You got to be on like a 3 to 4 minute delay.
Yeah.
These apps ruin it.
Right now, I really don't care because the season is what the season. I'm not even watching the game. It turned out because of home run. But when you're watching the game, could you imagine if your phone went off 5 seconds before Batista's home run?
That would have been very annoying.
Told you is your phone.
That happened
You
to
would have
me.
launched your phone across the bar.
That happened to me.
Both happy and sad.
Game 7, Oilers Canucks. I'm sitting there holding my phone in my hand, and I look. I'm like, oh, tweet from Friedman, and he just goes, Hronik 3-2. And I looked. I'm like, what the fuck? It was just an icing. And then I had to sit there and watch the whole play develop. I literally threw my phone across the room. I was like, are you kidding me? They're going to score. Yeah, and all my buddies were like, you just ruined it. I'm like, well.
If I'm going down, y'all come down with me.
I'm pissed. That was also the big problem with those Budweiser goal lights.
Yep.
You can never have them turned on because they'd go off 3 seconds before the goal.
They do have. How you didn't mention when you're mentioning people who've done this before. You did not mention Frank, because didn't he ruin Seattle's
expansion draft?
Yeah, but that's fine. That's different.
The goal lights, to their credit, do have a delay in there now.
You can do it.
You can bake a delay into the app to be able to protect it. Yeah.
All right, there. So Rick was apps ruining moment.
Yeah, Blue Jays.
My cold performer of the week is going to be the NFL players who voted Josh Allen the most underrated. You're my cold performer of the week because you're dumb. You're my hot performer of the week.
Overrated, by the way.
Oh, sorry, overrated. They voted Josh Allen the most overrated player in the league.
Is he much of a trash talker?
Oh, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. His mic'd up moments are good.
That much?
Yeah, he like seeks it out. It's great.
The size of a truck, you can.
But I'm happy they did this because I think it's going to lead to him coming into the season with a bit of a chip on his shoulder.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Hot performer of the week, Rick.
Well, no one brought it up. Well, you sort of kind of did, but Connor McDavid for taking time out of his summer to make a wish and take a photo with that kid from Toronto.
Oh my goodness.
Austin Matthews.
It's very nice of him.
Oh, that was pleasant. All the way to Germany for it too.
It's getting hot in here, so hot.
My hot performer of the week is they're making a new Wallace and Gromit movie.
Who?
It'll come out on Netflix later this year, so that is pretty epic.
What?
You ever seen Wallace and Gromit?
I was raised on Wallace.
I heard a rumor that the certain type of material and clay they need to make those movies is like some sort of mineral or whatever that they're running out of, and they have like a finite amount left if they ever wanted to keep doing claymation.
Well, that's why they only make Chicken Run and Wallace and Gromit now.
Can't you just take him, like, melt him back down and build him back up again as some other character?
Yeah, you
I don't know
can't
the science
imagine.
behind it.
Yeah.
I just saw that on Twitter, and I assumed it's the
Make
truth.
one character, you're like, oh, there goes that clay. Can't
Not
reuse
sure.
that one.
Dan.
AI is going to have to figure it out for us. My hot performer of the week is going to be my wasp trap that I made.
I saw it on Reddit.
Yeah, you can check it out on Reddit now. I was able to kill, I think, like 50 or 60 wasps in like a 2-hour span. All you need is a big Tupperware container, metal grate of some sort, just some kind of surface that you can put apples or like sweet things on top of, and then fill up that Tupperware container with water and a ton of soap. Like give it some soapy, sudsy water, and then you just put. I mash the apples on top of the grate, and then the wasps come in and they try to eat at the apples. They get drunk on the fermented apple juice, and they just fall into the water and they're dead.
Drown and die.
Wow.
Yep. So my wasp trap gets the hot performer of the week.
Cash money.
I like to kill yellow jackets.
Oh, man. So I went and took my bottles in the other day.
Oh.
Holy shit. I'll show you guys the picture after, but bad luck, got the spot right next to where they were keeping all their wasp traps. And usually I am the guy, you have my little blue bag of bottles. I rip it open for the guy, dump it into his little container for him. The wasps were so bad, and there were so many wasps in my bag that I was just like, I'm like, sorry, man. And I just threw the little bag, like the blue bag onto his thing, and I ran back into the truck, waited for him to finish sorting it, and I did eventually go inside because there were less wasps inside. He actually had 2 big fans on either side of him blowing at him so that the wasp wouldn't come at him. Because I was curious about how he was surviving. There were thousands.
So I got inspired to do this because we had a family friend and a little guy that's like less than 2 years old over. He walked out in the backyard and he grabbed an apple off the ground that was rotting and he picked it up and like like out of a scene out of a horror film. The wasps just started crawling all over his arms, and that's my exact reaction. So I took to a hard 17 hours of studying and trying to figure out how to get these fuckers, and I'm killing them all. So
it's also bad on the golf course. I've been hearing the horror stories of them climbing people's beers and people take a drink of their beer and get stung. One thing, it's a great hack, wasp or not. You know those little plastic caps you get in a 4-pack of craft beer? Just cut those up into 4s. And then when you're not drinking your beer, you slap it on there. And then that way, you know, when you're driving in a cart and sometimes you hit a bump and your beer sprays everywhere, beer never sprays anywhere anymore.
wow.
Genius.
Wow.
Innovation at its finest.
So we'll grab some sugar water in a spray bottle, and we'll miss down Jay tomorrow so he can't beat us.
Ooh, smart.
That's so aggressive.
No,
Just a little bit.
gotta win. All right, my hot performer of the week, Edmonton product. Fan of the show or listener of the show, Eric Sabrowski, called up to the major leagues yesterday. I was watching here at the office, and I mean, it was just so exciting when you wake up and you see the news. You're like, holy shit, he's going to get a chance to be on a major league roster. Like, the game was at 11. It was on Sportsnet, luckily enough. And they were down 5-2 in the 7th or 8th inning, and the camera panned to the bullpen, and he was warming up. And I was like, holy shit, he's going to get a chance to pitch today. And then the Guardians pulled off a comeback, ended up taking the lead. So they went with their closer and their setup guy in the 8th and 9th. So he didn't get to pitch yesterday, but was talking with him a bit. He's excited to get his opportunity right away here. They're off today. They're back in action Friday. Every Cleveland Guardians game is must watch right now because Eric Sabrowski could be coming out of the bullpen. Once he makes his appearance, because he will, he'll be the 5th ever Edmontonian to make an appearance in the major leagues. And it'll be the first time ever that 2 Edmontonians are in the major leagues at the same time. There's another guy on Milwaukee. He's on the 15-day IL right now, but he's technically on an active roster.
Does he have a name?
Rob Zastrinsky. I'd have to look at it. It's tough to pronounce the last name. Anyways, Eric Sabrowski, you get my hot performer of the week.
He's a hot guy.
Sounds like Sabrowski, but you just kind of made it up as you went.
His name's actually Tim Smith.
Yeah. No, it is something that sounds Ukrainian-ish. All right, we're going to wrap up the show, gentlemen, with our outro music. And I'm going to read you the latest review we got for this podcast.
Oh, sick.
From Hardy Stew Lover, 4 stars. He says, the play-out music you used on the most recent podcast sucked. Why would you play yourselves out?
Why wouldn't you play yourself out?
How low you and your group going tomorrow, Rick, at the Oilersnation Open?
We've been talking about it already. I understand Jay's got a bit of a ringer involved, so we've got it labeled that it need to be at least. We're gonna be minus 18 at least.
Really?
Yeah, they figure they'll be at minus 16, minus 17.
I'm playing with my guy Ryan, his buddy Charles, and Pat Puff. I think our goal is minus 15.
What Pat Puff shoot yesterday?
Shot a 73 yesterday in his warm-up round, so he's dialed in.
What's his beverage of choice?
Why, you're going to try to get him liquored up so he's not as efficient?
Pat drinks non-alcoholics.
Yeah. It's his first ever Oilers Nation Open, so he might be, I don't know if we have an award for drunkest, but it might be him.
A crown?
Well, if he's going to have to drink a lot because the guy who sits in the chair that you're sitting in right now,
yeah, BM will be.
This guy's been excited for about almost since the day after the tournament last year.
Yeah.
And this is his time to shine.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. If you're coming to the Oilers Nation Open, come say what's up. And we'll be back next Friday.